Welcome, dear listeners, to episode 46 of The Empty Rooms of Gorski Manor. We sat contented on the great roots of the hanging tree, all of us pleased, our working together with the help of not magic has released and freed the puppets of their past, opening the doorway to a new existence here within the manor. As I basked in the peaceful, lovely energy of this moment, gazing up with awe into the great canopy of the majestic branches of this hanging tree, each branch stretching so high and grand above me, I could see the dawning sunlight making its way through this maze, finding little nooks and crannies to flow its light beams through, reflecting off the strong bark of the oak, some finding their way so far down here to me. As I gazed above with no urgency, something caught my eye. Swaying in the newly awakened morning breeze, high up at the very top of the canopy, the shadow causing my eye to see what I wanted to see. Harry? Could that be Harry Gorski? He whom we haven't seen for quite some time. The birds began to sing. Squirrels exited their nests within the branches, yawning and stretching in the coming warmth. The something above remained, growing no clearer in the brightening light. My companions, Feathers, Simon, and the three sisters, all slept, curled warmly in the tree roots. I continued to watch above. The morning breeze became stronger, blowing the leaf-filled branches with greater gusto. This dislodged some of the heavily laden packets of acorns, full and ready for harvest. The something moved slightly down one branch, then another, sending a small barrage of acorns raining down upon my head. I tried to cover my head with my arms, but the nuts were aimed very well, and many hit me with a sharp sting. Oh, I placed Harry's top hat on my head, protection at the ready for another possible attack. Who or what is up there? I, ready to yell, but stopping myself, not wanting to awaken my sleeping companions just yet. So I watched with interest as the something descended a little nearer. I looked to the acorns and noticed something was drawn on many of them. I picked up a few and saw the letter N drawn with something that looked like chalk. I touched the white line, but it did not rub off and held firm. The Rune Nauthiz I now saw on other acorns, which is the letter N. My thoughts began to swirl around this letter of word magic. I do notice the letter N in so many of the words I live and work with. It brings forth an initial, how can I describe it? A sort of a clunk in my solar plexus, and oh no, feeling each and every time I see the N in a word. Just like that feeling when one's knees go weak automatically, when one sees something awful or scary. To me, this letter N is of sadness and melancholy, yet needed a hint of awareness to be noticed of what one may need with the working of the word. Its task like a tempering of the word's message, not letting the other letters get too grand or too big-headed, keeping the meaning in check and balanced. And it certainly does bring a heightened excitement to those words that do not contain it. Oh, pardon my rambling, dear listener, to my following of this word worm thread. Please take notice of what letter makes its attention strongly known to you, in what words you use, a special connection for you. And spiritually, the letter N symbolizes new beginnings. Oh, there are 3 in that. And change, 1 N in that word. Nurturing and compassionate energies. Inner peace, 2 N's. And meaningful connections. That word connections contains 3 N's. Adaptability and hidden knowledge are also part of this letter N. And within these meanings, only 2 words had no N's within them: peace and adaptability. Peaceful adaptability, free of the sadness and melancholy, the focus of the letter N and Rune Nauthiz. Peaceful adaptability, a lovely sharing, makes me feel hopeful. Such interesting ramblings for sure. I looked up to the shadow and caught my breath. Oh, it was gone. Oh, no. I had lost track of the something in all my inner ponderings. Oh, as I frantically scanned the branches, 2 more acorns fell straight, point blank, hitting me smack dab on the top of my nose. Yet the bounce had an air of purpose, as I actually caught 1 in each hand. I squinted my eyes in the now blinding sunlight. Who is up there? I looked down to these acorns and almost dropped them as I saw 2 eyes looking back at me. Ooh, I almost threw them when they blinked. A hello of sorts, perhaps, I hope. Magic, always in the most unexpected place, here at the Manor. I carefully held them, trying not to poke each eye. The first thing I noticed was 1 eye was green and the other blue. I gazed at them as they gazed back at me. I moved them around, causing the eyes to shift their stare, keeping our gaze fixed, eye to eye. "Who are you?" I asked. The blue eye began to blink like a Morse code. Then the green eye joined the blue. I watched in total confusion.
"What have you got there, sweetie?"
Theodora asked as she came to sit next to me, stretching and yawning as she rubbed her back from sleeping on the firm earth. "These fell from the tree," I said, holding out the eyes on the acorns for her to see.
"Ooh, whose eyes are they?"
she asked matter-of-factly. I am sure she sees this type of thing every day. "Oh, up there, at the top of the tree, there was something," I began, trying to point upwards, yet holding on to the acorn eyes. "It threw acorns at me, these ones, but now it's gone. I don't see it anymore." We both scanned the branches to no avail.
"Hester, Agatha, someone's given their eyes to Mistress,"
she called as she got up and pointed above, trying to find the shadow. Oh, the sisters came and huddled together closely, looking at the eyes and looking above. Simon soon joined us, and then feathers, yet no one seemed to know whose eyes they were.
Well, I should think they need to be returned.
Agatha considered.
An unusual calling card, perhaps? Oh, yes, an invitation of sorts.
Hester considered. Well, I'm thinking of climbing up there. See, the branches seemed nicely placed, I said, pointing out the way I planned to go. The something may be hidden in a knot hole or tree crack, perhaps. See, I could take that branch, then those two, twist this way, then that, and yes, I could actually get quite high, I said with resolve, my plan of action now in place.
Wonderful, sweetie. You have the situation under control.
Agatha said, the other sisters also agreeing.
We will let you do it then. Home is calling. Never-ending work to be done.
What? I said, feeling abandoned, sitting there, mouth wide open with surprise, my hands full of eyes, holding them out so they could see the sisters quickly pack their bags. Each sister gave me a kiss on the cheek goodbye, then hopped on their brooms and flew away into the sky in less than a minute. Simon, Feathers, and I looked at each other, flabbergasted and surprised, as were the eyes, for each was open wide with shock. And then we heard the song. I could not tell from where it came. I felt shivers run down my back, tears swelling in my eyes. It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor, but then again, no, or a girl who makes potions in a traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. So excuse me for forgetting, but these things I do. You see, I've forgotten if they're green or they're blue. Anyway, the thing is, what I really mean, yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. I remembered the song from my youth, long ago now, yet the emotions still as fresh as when I had first heard it. A song that conjures up old, deep emotions. Those times chatting with Harry through the Ouija board.
Song magics, mistress.
Simon whispered.
A most wonderful gift, truly.
I remembered song magic is so dear to Simon's heart. I looked to the eyes in the acorns. The green one released one gentle tear that I wiped away with care. I hadn't noticed Feathers was gone until she returned from above. "What did you see?" I asked eagerly, looking up into the branches that now felt empty, feeling such yearning to see what the something was, but concerned for my attempt to climb a tree, something that I haven't done in ages, a task, but something I did love to do, as I still climbed the lower branches of the trees in my garden, to place birdhouses or just to watch.
Caw, she awaits you, mistress, caw,
Was all Feathers would say. I attempted to get her to say who it was, but she would not tell, which seemed odd. I did notice, though, that she said she and not he. Oh, so no Harry it does seem to be. I placed the acorn eyes in my pocket for safety. "I guess I'll be back," I said as I moved onto the first branch. Simon surprisingly followed and hopped on ahead of me, having no trouble at all clinging to the tree's bark. Feathers landed on a branch just above. Slowly I moved to each next branch, checking my balance, checking my hand holes, my foot placements carefully and purposefully. The song began to play again, this time quietly, whispered, brought by the wind, a comforting feeling of encouragement as I continued on my task. Up and up I went. I sat for a moment, resting in the crook of a flat branch, looking down. Oh, how far I have come already. Then looking up to where I needed to go. It felt a halfway point, equal distance between 2 points. I glanced out over the vista as I caught my breath, for I was now above this hidden garden stone wall. I could see the manor, perched regally upon the next hill, the sunlight reflecting from its many windows, my heart swelling with affection for the manor, me truly feeling I am where I am wanted, and most of all, want to be. Yet a strange longing for my cottage home still rose in my heart. I knew it awaits my return, yet when might that be? I rubbed a fresh surge of blood and energy into my hands and continued upwards. Simon and Feathers unusually quiet. And then I was there, high as I could go. But something was not there. The top branches holding only little sparrows and finches and robins that chittered at me, concerned at my disturbing and breaking into their special space, uninvited. "Feathers, where is she?" I asked, confused, and a touch out of breath from my climb and the disappointment.
Caw. There. Look, mistress.
Feathers said, pointing down to a smaller tree near this one as she took off and flew in that direction. What is happening? I thought. Why is Feathers so secretive? Yet all I could do was start down the tree slowly. But actually, I felt nothing less than invigorated from the climb. Who would have thought at my age I could climb this high, an accomplishment to be remembered? Age is not a good choice of measure. As I descended, I thought of the lyrics of the song. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. Oh, and potions in a traveling show. These words holding hidden meaning within my life. I could feel the meaning deepening. I know I did wander in a past life, in a traveling show, as a singer. Finally, I reached Mother Earth below. I brushed my clothes of the wood shavings of bark and leaf, and then I saw her. There something sat in the crook of a tree that I had not noticed before, there behind Harry's hanging tree. I could see her silhouette, the rising sun bright, blinding white behind her. The first thing that caught my attention was the top hat she wore, roguishly tipped to one side upon her head. Her appearance did not catch my awareness, no hint of recognition for who she might be, yet I could totally see this something looked so much like me. My shadow, perhaps? I sat down on a large root, staring at her and she at me. I looked behind me. Well, there it was, my shadow. So nothing like Peter Pan's dilemma of his lost shadow. Is this something? Hello? You? Or me? Something did not move or acknowledge my call. Feathers and Simon came and sat next to me upon the root. I put my hand on each of them in friendship. Quietly we sat, looking at the something, yet listening to the birds still chattering above and the breeze rustling the leaves. I wondered if they knew the answer. This was definitely something special. A moment to be pondered, remembered, questioned, and reviewed. An odd doing for sure, here beneath this tree, which itself is an odd doing. Something that was not to be known quickly. Something that grew in understanding with the passage of time. Watching us, her, she, us, watching with our eyes. I remembered the acorn eyes in my pocket and carefully brought them out. The eyes were closed but opened immediately, looking to me with the question deep into my eyes. Then they each strained, trying to see towards the something on the tree, straining to their limit, their boundary, to see what sat there. I could help and turn the acorns so they could look directly at something. The thought rose from my knowing, these are not my eyes, came strong within this quiet confusion, for my eyes are hazel. Old feelings and memories, smells and snippets of forgotten some things caught my attention in this moment. A replay of another Time covered and lost deep within, except for this brief moment that they bobbed to the surface for a split second, causing my heart to embrace and remember something for this second, but unable to hold it as it then faded away with disappointment as quickly as it had come. What is something sharing? Offering something that I cannot comprehend at this moment, but sensing, knowing it is really there. Oh, how worm thoughts can wiggle and twist and lead one who knows where. I felt so dizzy, floating on these thoughts, actually feeling lightheaded and a bit discombobulated. Interesting energy, though, flowing from something sitting on that tree. I needed to do something, so I got up and made my way through the roots to stand below something. I could see some faded details there within the blackness of her shape. I held the acorn eyes up towards her. "Are these your eyes?" I asked, as the usual place on her face was empty of them. I took a quick step backwards when she finally moved with a jerk. Then she tilted her head to look down on me. Slowly, she shook her head back and forth, her answer plain, no. Still, she moved slowly. From under her hat, she pulled a long black ribbon and, holding it out in her hand, let it fall down to me. I couldn't catch it with two eyes in my hands, so I watched where it landed on the ground. I carefully put both eyes in one palm and reached down to retrieve the ribbon. Words were written upon it. Eyes are not needed to see. Oh, I looked upon her to question her, but she was gone. I walked back to Feathers and Simon, dazed. "Where did she go? What did you see?" I asked them.
She faded into the tree, mistress.
Yes.
"This has been quite an unusual morning," I commented as I sat on the tree root, showing them the eyes and the ribbon in my hands.
A mystery, mistress.
Simon laughed.
Oh, I want to be Hastings, and you can be Perot.
He suggested with excitement. And
Feathers can be Miss Lemon.
oh, Simon. But Simon, no one has been murdered. I laughed, then thought better of it, hoping that thought form would not be realized. Blessings and hugs, dear listener.
It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside.